who to involve. So we're now going to have a look at who you should involve in your case, in your life around this situation. And we're going to break it down into two categories. So who should you involve for you, and who should you involve for your children. So being in a relationship with an abuser can often result in PTSD and other mental health issues. You need support as well. Children who have either witnessed or been triangulated into the abuse can well have PTSD and other mental health issues as well, and they need support. So we're going to do some practical exercises on who to involve. I'm going to break it down into practical, emotional and legal support. You might have more categories that you want to do, that's absolutely fine. But then we're going to look at about the priority of their involvement. So in your workbook, I've created some tables for you. So we look at the practical. The examples I've given are practical might be you need to get the police involved. And what capacity, so you can get a police report, an incident number, and what the priority is urgent if an incident has just happened. You also might need to notify your landlord to notify them that the ex has moved out, but that's more of a moderate need. It's not something that needs to happen straight away. For emotional support, I would talk to your boss, explain your moods, why you're distracted, give them some context. Again, not urgent, like got to be done this second, but it is quite important so that you get the support you need. GP, to ensure that you get support, referral for counsellor, I would put that as quite a high level of support. So I want you to go through and think about all those different people. So legal support, you might be looking at a solicitor, psychologist, for example. Think about all of those things, anyone else you can think of, and fill that in. And then do the exact same for the children. Go through who you're going to involve, what level of priority. Some other people that you could consider are social services, and we've talked about this. Knowing when to make a referral and the likely outcome of that, and we looked at that in the assessing risk section. Family support, this might be referred through social services. In your area there might be some family support services that you can self-refer to. School, definitely, or nursery, involve as soon as possible because they need to support the child. They need to understand what is going on for your child. So if there are any behavioural issues or emotional outbursts, then they understand what's going on. They can provide them with any nurturing support that they need. GP as well, I would involve them to support you in your mental health. This isn't about telling them all about your ex, it's about you getting the support that you need. Therapists, I definitely would recommend getting someone involved who understands your experience, is a specialist in this particular area. CAFCAS, they will automatically come involved once the court process has started. It's not something you can directly refer to yourself. There's domestic abuse services for both male and female. Obviously, the male provision is much lower, but there are, Mankind is out there, obviously, Women's Aid, and then the local authority versions as well, and they can support you with housing, protection, court appearances. You have an IDVA, solicitor, so engage someone as soon as possible, even if it's only for advice, or a Mackenzie friend if you're going down that route. Court, obviously, it is a likely outcome as we've looked at. Mediation as well, I would involve them as soon as possible so that you've got your C100 ready to go to court. What I've provided next is some questions for you on how to choose solicitor. Solicitors aren't all the same, as with any other profession. You get some good ones, you get some alright ones, and you get some not very good ones. And it's really important that you get the right one for your case, because I know so many people, so many clients who have gone years down the line and realised their solicitor didn't have a clue how to handle this case. They got it all wrong from the start. And with these sort of things, when you're in it for the long haul, you need to get it right as soon as possible. So it might be tempting to choose someone who has an aggressive manner, hoping to match your ex's style. But in reality, this will play into the false narrative and can create, depending on the type of abuser that you're dealing with, or make it seem like you're both problematic and put the blame upon both of you, which kind of gives your ex a get out of jail free card, because they're going to say, yeah, we're bad as each other, and it gets them off the hook, which obviously fits into their mindset, but also it muddies that water and makes everyone look through a lens of, oh, they just need to get on, they need to put this to one side. And actually, if you're up against someone who is abusive, you shouldn't have to do that. You know, you do have to cope out because you have children, but it shouldn't necessarily be a normal co-parenting relationship. They should be open to looking at parallel parenting, for example. So you may choose to self-represent, be a litigant in person, which is understandable given the financial implication of these types of cases. If you're looking at years and years, you might be thinking, I can't fund that. However, I would, if possible, retain some sort of legal counsel to reduce your workload and stress. Now, it might be that they just look at the big things, and then you have a Mackenzie friend do some of the smaller stuff, like help you write statements, that kind of thing. But I would certainly be having some legal advice if possible. And obviously we have included the guide to being a litigant in person as well to help you with that. So before deciding on a solicitor, I really do recommend sitting down with at least 3 different people from different law firms. That way you'll get a feel for what is out there. Sometimes when you've been abused, you jump for the first person. That might not be the right choice for you. You need someone who really does understand what you've been through, someone who is open-minded and assertive. If you have someone who you absolutely trust and you know that their judgment is solid, take them with you. They can help. You've been abused, and so your instinct might not be completely reliable just yet. So I've included some questions for you to ask the prospective representatives, and the important thing is to use the information that you've gathered in this course to reflect and make decisions about their answers. Do their responses match what you have learnt? So the questions are all in there, and there's a handout as well that you can use. Choosing a psychologist, again, we've covered a little bit of this, but just to really hammer it home, is that being a psychologist alone does not automatically make someone the best suited to assess your case. It is so important you get the right person with the right qualifications, the right understanding and the right expertise. So again, you want to be looking at family systems theory, attachment theory, personality disorders if you think that's relevant, trauma, intimate partner violence. Ensure it's non-gendered, particularly if you're obviously a male. And you can ask for a copy of their CVs, look at their websites, you can ask what training they've done. If it doesn't include at least 3, I wouldn't all of them really, but at least 3 of them, move on to the next one. You absolutely need the right person, looking for the right things, because sadly abusers can manipulate even psychologists.